Oh man, so you guys heard a little bit of an echo there because I was just digging the music. I had to take a listen myself. Also, I've rearranged things in my room, and damn it, now I went for like a nice clean look for today. Unfortunately, I just look like a Mormon now, wearing like a white shirt and a tie. This was a mistake. I'll fix this later. Okay, that blurb of information aside, good morning everybody, and welcome to the Ting Open Season 4 Round of 8. Hello, Zombie Grub, whose camera is way too big. Whoa, let me fix that.
Not my fault.
You're too big and beautiful, man. The screen just can't contain you. All right, that should be fixed now. But yeah, how are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm okay.
Good to hear. So we've run into our first hiccup for today, where I put the server as default West, but Solar actually really doesn't want to play West. So I'm not too sure where Neeb is at the moment, but if he's okay with it, we might just do loser's server preference. Otherwise, I guess we'll leave West as the default if nobody can agree on anything.
So, I mean, I'm guessing he'd rather just play Korea.
Yeah, I mean, apparently he played Neeb and Shoutcraft, and the ping on West was like really bad. Which normally isn't the case. Like, it's always gonna be a little unbearable going cross server. It's never the total preference, but Solar was saying it was bad to the point where he didn't want to play. So we'll see. To be clear, he wasn't threatening to pull out of the tournament or anything like that, guys. He was just describing the situation. But my concern is, Neeb, where are you?
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to talk about.
Well, we have luckily some contingency stuff for today if Neeb is late for any reason. We'll get more into that if we get into it. Let's take a quick look at the brackets though. Show you guys, this is not the match order. I want to make this very clear as we take a look at this page. This is the actual round of 8 bracket. The match order was predetermined ahead of time, so we know who's playing who, blah blah blah, been in contact with all the players, which is why it's a little surprising Neeb might not be here for some reason. But Rob Thari, thank you for the 100 bits, as well as Jibby25, 100 more bits. This is bedtime, feels bad, man. I know, dude. We also had Warbuffy, come back for 18 months. Good way to start off our stream. And the Diesel Max Power, this very nice son of a gun, gifted a sub to Hoofprint09. So thank you guys all for that. And yeah, we'll see what's going on with Neeb. If it takes too long, like I said, we do have a backup. Well, he just messaged me saying he's coming, so I guess we'll just give him a moment and he'll be online. But yeah, so we got 4 best of 5s today. And on top of this, we have an embarrassing backflip attempt out of Ting Jesse.
Embarrassing? Why would it be embarrassing?
Because I made him do it at his office in front of everybody instead of from the comfort of his home as he had planned to do.
Okay.
Rifkin's revenge for doing nothing wrong, I guess. But yeah, so for those who don't know what I'm talking about here with the backflip or why I'm talking about the backflip, if you actually go to the Match Reno page, this is so weird. I'm like a hand talker, guys, and like this monitors. I gotta get a new camera angle, but yeah, the Match Reno page was the prize pool for the tournament. We're actually up to like 19 signups or something, by the way, which is really good. So we're almost at our season goal to secure a season 5, which would be amazing. We'll talk more about that later. But one of the first reward goals was Jesse would do a backflip live on stream. The second one, which was recently met as of last stream, was Jesse and Rifkin will now play a best of 3 rematch, and Zombie Grub will cast it. That'll happen during the finals. So the way we've planned this out, I guess, for his sake and the viewer's sake, is the grand finals day is going to have the 3rd place match open the stream. Between the 3rd place match and the finals, we'll play our best of 3 show match, and then there'll be the grand finals of the Ting Open. That'll be on this coming Sunday. But today we're only playing the round of 8. Saturday will be dedicated to 2 best of 7s for the semifinals, and of course, as with Ting tradition, best of 9 grand finals for the season. But Neeb is here. Let's see what's going on. So, like I said, worst case scenario, we can swap back and forth for servers. Like, I feel like, just so everyone is aware of what's going on, when you play StarCraft 2, there is no great way to play cross server. There is absolutely no way to do this where everybody's happy. So what you're trying to do is either make sure everyone's equally miserable or equally happy. But there's never going to be like a perfect situation.
Yeah, and Solar also got the bug that just shows 9,999.
That's a lot of ping.
Yeah, that'd be quite a bit.
I'm waiting for Rifkin to ask us if we've heard of the Lord and Savior StarCraft. No, that's Sunday. Sunday is the Church of StarCraft, guys. This is just simply Rifkin made a poor choice dressing up, thinking that would not look so religiously formal, I suppose you could say. But yeah, at any rate, I miss my beard. I'm gonna get this out of the way because it's gonna be brought up a million times during stream, and I'm hoping you guys can then answer the people in chat so I don't have to. It's a weird condition and it sounds made up, but I suffer from something called trichotillomania. I don't suffer some of the worst versions of this involve people going like out of their way to like eat their hair and toenails and shit, and luckily I'm not that bad with it. But when the internet wasn't working yesterday and I couldn't cast games with Zombie Grub, I got super stressed out, kind of had a bit of an attack, and with half my beard missing, decided just to shave it off and cross my fingers it grows back evenly, because someday it's not going to. But anyways, that's the TLDR on why Rifkin's got a bad case of baby face. Thank you, Printer Hands, for the 35-month resub. Thank you very much for coming back to the stream. And we are doing vetoes and sorting stuff with the, I guess, lag and latencies, so hopefully this won't take too long. But luckily, we are still on schedule. This wasn't like a 20-minute delay.
Yeah. Okay, well, Solar has drastically less ping than Neeb would, so
maybe we'll just stick to West then. So, while it's not written out in public and in rules, we do have like server contingencies we always talk about with the players. And it's something where like, look, we're just gonna say middle ground, whatever the middle server is, that's the default. If you guys can agree to play any other way around that, by all means go ahead. But for example, between them, West would be default, because Neeb's coming from the East Coast and Solar's coming from Korea.
yeah. I can't imagine 150 was what he had at Shawcraft if he was saying it was really, really bad.
Maybe it's just a bad day, or the internet, or some combination of the two.
Yeah.
Well, it's appropriate that we cast the Solar first as I sell out for a second. I'm rocking my splice shaker today. Although I made a mistake with this. You know, like, whether it's like a juice crystal pack or G Fuel or whatever, you like, you know, you put water in.
Okay.
And typically you're supposed to use cold water.
Okay.
I accidentally used warm water. That doesn't taste very good.
Oh, okay.
Above room temperature.
I was gonna say, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with using the warm water, but it just sounds like, why would you drink warm water, warm lemonade? Anything?
Well, apparently that's like a very European, like room temperature or warm things.
I mean, room temperature is fine. Warm?
I got nothing wrong with room temperature.
No.
It's not a preference, but I'm telling you, warm is not good.
I think I knew that. Thank you, dude. Actually, speaking of warm water, our warm water heater broke. I had to take a cold shower last night. It sucks.
Ooh,
and it's cold outside.
Well, the upside, okay, there's some small upside to that though, right? Because the logic is like, on a hot day, you're supposed to take a hot shower so that you feel more cooled down getting out of it. So maybe a cold shower, you feel warmer getting out of it?
No.
Oh, okay, then there's no upside. You just are screwed.
Yeah.
That's where you just boil water and take a bath. Like, just boil
it like one, like, you know, big pot at a time. Just take it upstairs, dump it out, do it again.
Yeah, so like 7 hours later, you can have a bath. Easy peasy.
That's like lukewarm because it's taking so long. Yeah,
that's great. It sounds amazing.
Great.
No downside.
Thank you.
All right. Vetoes are fully sorted, folks. We're about to get into the first game of the day. It's going to be going down on Neon Violet Square. As always, if there are any audio discrepancies, if the game sounds are too loud or too quiet, if Zombie Grub or myself are too loud or too quiet, please let us know, guys. That way we can adjust it accordingly. Thank you very much to Cast31 coming back for 11 months on that resub. Let's hop in a game. All right, give it a quick kick. Like it's a TV that you just won't turn on. Come on. Yeah, there we go. But all right, these are all best of 5s today. So as mentioned, 4 best of 5s. And oops, silly Rifkin was playing this darn game. He keeps forgetting to always reset his observer settings. All right, representing Ting, the namesake sponsors of this tournament. Wait a minute, why are the dimensions so off? Okay.
What? What?
Hang on, I'm trying to fix this. What's going on with that? Okay. Good start to the stream. All right. As per the name of the tournament, the TING Open, it is their one and only StarCraft player, the yellow Protoss Neeb.
Yeah, in the bottom right has the red Zerg. It is Solar.
I am actually vastly aware of what's happened. So, as some of you may have caught my epic stream of ultimate handiwork last night, I have 2 new monitors, and they are 1440p, something I've never had before. And OBS is still 1080, but I think StarCraft is now 1440, and that's why it was off in such a weird dimension. But it should be good now. Again, guys, if there's any hiccups, just let me know. But looks like players are making the agreement here in game to just go swapping server after server after server. So there's a couple alternatives to this. They're proposing to do NA Korea, like back and forth no matter who wins. There are some versions of this that favor losers pick for server preference. We'll reconfirm with them after this game is said and done and see what they're all happy with, because we want to make sure they're happy.
Yeah. Neeb does, I don't know what it was when he was in Korea, but for like 2 months, he didn't want to play off server at all. But 95% of the time outside of that period, he actually doesn't mind playing on different servers. You know, he was playing in the Corsair Cup on Europe server, for instance, just a couple of days ago. So he's actually usually very fair, especially if the other person's getting like much higher ping than him, then he'll trade, but it suck.
What I really like about Neeb as a player in general is all the things you brought up, but he's also just like super chill with these things. Some players are very petty, and that's fine, you know, your own prerogative about what server you play on. Back in the day, if you guys remember Empire Happy, absolutely fantastic Terran player, one of the best in Europe. You could not give him $1,000 to play cross server. It just would not happen. But Neeb's pretty flexible about it. It's kind of a nice thing. Also, I mean, the saturation fall? Hang on. I don't remember where the settings for this are. Colors. Oh, okay. It's all good. This is my new monitors. Throwing me off here. Everything looks too good.
Okay. Is it fixed?
I guess. Stream will have to tell us if it needs any sort of adjusting, I guess. But anyways, a couple things I should make it through to the main. This is good for a scout on the Stargate. A lot of players opening Stargate right now. Not convinced this is the best thing to be doing, but some players get some good use out of it. And Neeb will certainly be probably in that rank. I also love that he's not overreacting with the probe pull. Like, that was the most casual probe pull to deal with this while the soccer gets made. Cleans up the lings. He's got his wall off going. He's good to go.
Yeah. Solar is going for an evolution chamber. We could have a ling drop in the main base. They are typical openers. And that is what we're seeing from the best PvZ anyways, is still like the openers you would expect. Maybe, yeah, you get a Stalker first more commonly than you did before, but even that doesn't really change. The Stalker first, kind of like whether you want to try and hide your builds for one, and then also a bit stronger of a wall too, but a little more expensive on the gas, so... But you don't have to worry about a mothership core anymore. And I guess that's kind of a blessing and a curse in some regards. You don't have to worry about 100 gas being invested into something, because you can just 75 mineral shield battery. But you also don't have photon overcharge, obviously, right? In case things do get hectic. But if you don't have photon overcharge, then I guess double Oracle or then some could make up for that. I don't know if it's going to be Oracle. It's actually building a Phoenix, but it is a second Stargate right off the bat.
So I did notice there was a very small, I don't know if you had this, a small patch to download. It was like 150 kilobytes or something, but I was like, did they hotfix things? But it looks like Oracle still deal 25 damage, so I guess not.
Yeah, that wasn't the balance patch. That was a bug fix.
Oh, what bug was fixed, do you know?
No. Someone on Reddit like had it copy pasted, but I forgot.
It's like that cool Archon thing we noticed yesterday. They're like, nope, that wasn't intentional.
Cool Archon thing.
With the War Prism, it would pick it up and have that weird blue line.
Yeah. The one that you brought up.
The electricity.
Nah, I don't know what it was. I would have figured it was the server, the ping bug, but obviously that's not it, am I right, guys?
Yeah, Solar's still getting 9999 ping. All right, so the back base gets taken at a Neeb. I guess this is kind of forced. It's a little bit difficult to take the third down below where you've got Lings right on your doorstep. The back base, not such a bad problem for gas, but a problem for minerals because you only have 4 mineral patches. So not an optimal base to have to take. But it's better than not expanding at all, and I kind of like that Neeb went for this. 3 oracles at a time, though. Zombie Rub, we've just gone full Protoss.
Yeah, this, we haven't seen this in a while, even before the patch hit up, so the patch is only like a week and a couple days old.
Oh.
But it just kind of fell out of favor anyways. We didn't see much of it at BlizzCon, for instance, although we still saw once or twice. But Mass Oracle, is Solar gonna anticipate this? Is he gonna have a proper reaction to this?
Dude, that was bloody clever, too. The way he picked up the Queen so the Oracle could actually go in there and barely escape. They came out of there with like 11 health. Also, big thing, a Rain Master for the Prime sub. Making it rain in chat via subs. I like it. Here comes that squad of Oracles heading down. Of course, 3 at a time still coming out behind this. I'm wondering, like... Solar really doesn't have anything to deal with this. There's a okay amount of queens for one base, but they're not going to be in the main. They're not here for this.
No, they're not. Of course, he scouted this just way too late. That's problem number 1. You know, he's trying to react now with a Hydralisk Den and an Infestation Pit, realizing how far gone it already is. Mass Transfuse will maybe take out 2 Oracles, 3 maybe. 2 of them are going to be pretty low. But the Oracles will win out here.
And with the other ones having just come across the map, there's actually nothing at home to stop this base. So, well, I take it back. There's a shield battery, so he's got it in the bag.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah. Well, even without the shield battery to just warp in more. That's it. Solar's it's too far gone.
I tell you what, Zombie, that's not a loss caused by ping.
No, that was straight up scouting.
Congratulations to Neeb, though, who will take the first game. I guess we'll now swap servers, so this is going to get a little bit headachy as we hop back and forth as quick as we can.
Why did they change the server swapper button?
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like a rare vendor where it just appears once in a while. Sometimes it's in the in-game client, sometimes it's not. You just gotta like. I'm just used to Alt F4ing at this point. Even when it was there, I'm just like Alt F4ing. But very good start for Neeb here in the day.
Oh god.
What was really cool? Huh?
The stupid intro screen is so terrible.
Oh yeah. If you guys didn't see, by the way, we kind of lucked out with this, right? The round of 8 had a totally random group draw, names from a hat style. We had no control over it really, and we not only got every match being PvZ with no mirrors, it was every foreigner versus Korean in every slot applicable. It was really cool. So of course, while this is the first match of the day, for those who have just joined us, we still have Denver versus Hero, Scarlet versus DNS, and Mana versus Impact, all scheduled to play as soon as available. I know Impact actually is playing some Afrika or GSL or something today, so he had to play a little bit later, and we had to move all the match orders around accordingly. But yeah, he should be back in time for his match, even if these are like really fast 3-0s or something.
Right. So of course, changing servers, I didn't copy paste the map order. I remember the second and third, but I don't remember the fourth and fifth, so hey, this will be a 3-0.
I'm impressed the players do, because I don't remember that stuff either. But hey, thank you, Hard Revenge, for that 5-month resubs as well. Only 4 more months so I can commit my first year on this channel. What? That's not how... It's like just wrong on so many levels. You put a Pegasus emote and get the fuck out of here. Diesel Max Power then comes with 400 bits, claiming title of Bit Boss. Thank you, Diesel Max Power. Says at least have the self-respect to call it by its proper name, Battery Shield. No. I'm very annoyed that people do this, and I refuse to get onto this meme train. It's just not gonna happen. Anyways, so yeah, we've gone to Korea. For those who are unaware, still going with the flow. Game 2. So on Blackpink, I actually have an intro for this. So as we are on the front page, good morning. Prepare for some weird K-pop. See you guys in game.
Click clack bada bing bada boom 문을 박 차면 모두 날 바라본 굳이 애써 노력 안 해도 모든 남자들의 코피가 팡팡팡 팡팡 바라바라 팡팡팡 지금 날 위해 축배를 짠짠짠 Hands up 내 손에 butterfly 흔히 네가 말로만 듣던 걔가 나야 Blackpink in your area Boom baya Yeah 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 boom baya
So there's two problems, guys. First, I got the wrong version of the Blackpink intro, so I gotta go fix that later too. But also, I realized as we swap servers, we're gonna get a little bit more of this black screen awkwardness. So, yikes, that's gonna be fun to deal with. Also, during the intro, Peasant Mob threw in 500 bits to say, "Look at me, I'm the bit boss now." Thank you very much for those little bitty bits. But okay, folks, it's game 2. We're on the Korean server now, so a little bit of server preference for this guy. In the bottom left, playing for Splice. It's Solar.
In the top right, as the red Protoss, it is Neeb.
All right, so a fair question coming out of chat, actually, from Fearsome88 says, why aren't skins disallowed for these kinds of tournaments? So, for those who don't know or unfamiliar with BaseTradeTV or StarCraft, because again, hello front page of Twitch, good morning! We were actually part of something called the Summit, the Community Summit, where we got together with a lot of people from Blizzard. They flew us out to California, as well as pros and other content creators. And this was actually a really big topic there. I can't discuss too much on it, but you know, a lot of people want to see skins on WCS. We don't see skins on WCS. There's some people who are happy not to see skins because their drones look so funky and weird. For BaseTradeTV, we have full control over our tournaments, and our policy is let the players do what they want. So while again, just like the server preference, where we have kind of a set default for if nobody can agree on things, the same goes for skins. If everyone's cool with playing with skins, just let them. Why not? They probably play more. Like, this was actually a point brought up by one of the pro players during one of the meetings, where they play more against players using skin on ladder, that it's actually really weird for them to play against players not using skins at all.
It just, I mean, it's pretty much a lot of the community opinion, whether the community is like casters or Reddit or Team Liquid or whatever, that skins probably are a better thing to let in, but Blizzard is very hesitant, so.
The only case I would make for me actually advocating skins instead of having a neutral stance would be in mirror matchups. I think shirts versus skins, one player should have all the skins on, one should have them off, make it a little bit easier, more fun to watch, but outside of that, really, YOLO.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we allow skins in these tournaments, and most tournaments outside of the actual WCS tourneys will have no rules regarding it, so.
I love this thought where there's some actual care and consideration, like the higher ups at Blizzard. They're like, look, we're worried that the fans just won't know what a drone looks like anymore. Well, and I'm just like, how dumb do they think some of the fans are? I mean, honestly.
Well, really, really dumb, to be honest. Like, Blizzard has such a weird stance where, okay, I understand their stance. It's not a bad stance to have, but they're totally flip-floppy on it. And that's not the right word. They're inconsistent with it. And that's the better word. They're inconsistent with it. Like, you know, they don't want skins so newbies, they don't misunderstand. Well, then why do you force newbies not to be able to pick select on your opponent's buildings and stuff? Like, that's all they ever see people do. It's the default. Like, why? That's inconsistent there, in my opinion. So actually, I don't really think they have a plan for this.
This is Rifkin doing his community service, right? If you're one of the folks who've just hopped onto the free-to-play hype train for StarCraft 2, you never really got to play it, but you always were kind of curious. Now the game's totally free. You've downloaded it. There's an option that is set as default where you cannot click on your enemy's units. Or rather, you can't select them. You can attack them, you can move into them, all these things, but you can't actually select them to look at their stats or their upgrades or anything. Like, go disable that in your options menu. It will make your life a million times better. I watched one of my friends' streamers struggle with this on their first day, and they're like, how am I supposed to see how much health it has? I'm like, well, yeah. I got no excuse for this. It's just dumb.
It's like when I told my friend what to do, like the very, very basics, like, hey, send a scout out and just build. And the damn training maps that they had you in for the first 5 games you played, if you clicked on it, you know, it said like training or something like that, or practice, I don't remember what it was. Then there were rocks blocking your mains. You couldn't actually escape your base. So that's why I said the word inconsistent, because to be honest, at this point, a lot of people who are playing StarCraft are not picking it up off the shelves because they've heard of it before. They're picking it up because they have heard of it before, and they want to kind of like watch, you know, really good players play it. They see what they do, they want to mimic it, and then when they can't, it's like, well, I don't understand what's going on. So that's a little rant aside. I bought us time basically to see the outcome of these builds, and Neeb did go for Resident Glaives.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. I saw the Robo come down instead of the Stargate, and you're thinking, okay, fine, but really it was more about this third base and its timing. 3 sentries and a shield battery, not a problem. Goodbye, the Zerglings. This is actually really good because even if it's 1 lazy force field or maybe 2, either way, Neeb doesn't actually have to focus a lot in the defense at home. He can focus on trying to juke Solar out of position here on the map around the Supernova Dancer. But
yeah,
it's not a fight against roaches. It's not a fight against queens. He's trying to get to the mineral lines, and unfortunately for him, but fortunately for Solar, he's been all over this. Between creep spread and positioning, he's just not getting attacked. But Solar's opting to go for a Spire, and in kind of a weird spot. It's almost hidden in plain sight, as the observer does not see this. And Spire play from Zerg players, not exactly super common anymore. Not this early, at least.
It is very early, so this is going to be a big surprise. Now, if this is seen, and Lucy Phoenix is going to get in here and see it, so really nicely done by Neeb.
I hope he clicks it, though, because that honestly looks like it could just be a forward spore or spine or something.
I think it's a little bit too big. I mean, you're right. That's like if you're just like literally glancing, but those Lucy Phoenix had a lot of time to check it out. So, but it's the time to call the bluff or not. Now, most Zerg players don't mean to bluff with this. I think. You know, they both acknowledge like, hey, I'm usually only going to get like 6 or 7, maybe 10 mutas at max. But there is always that chance, right, that they're going to go into 20 mutas. So it's hard to call which one they're going to do when you have to prepare for both. Well,
the attack's going to commence. Just going to give a quick shout out to Maple Leafs for that tier 2 sub. Read that message in a moment, but as we said, the attack's about to commence. Now, Solar does have Ravagers, so breaking force fields is not going to be out of the question. Looks like that shield battery's out of juice, so the Zerglings actually get in here and get a couple of kills. But the beauty of the shield battery is, until it ran out of juice, man, this was a lot of time for Neeb to just not have to respond immediately, to not have to have that absolute perfect precision timing.
Didn't need those force fields, though. That was a bit too big of a concave. His armor's not bad against this army type, but he is worried. I needed those force fields. Now they're not quite out. He could also save this next ramp here, but this is really actually good for Neeb. He just forced Solar to make so many roaches preparing for that attack that he used up all the gas that could have gone into, like I said, like 10 mutas. Now it's starting to go up to 5. That's a cannon and a mineral line. That's all you would need.
Not even, just a shield battery. Because 5 mutas don't actually do enough damage to kill probes. It's really a new mechanic is what I will say, so I don't sound too biased. I do like the mutas though, because if nothing else, getting around Neeb's army, sniping the Warp Prism, and cutting off all reinforcements to the front line is going to be the best way to stop Neeb's attacks.
So Neeb is, I mean, I want to say this is sometimes playing with fire. Like, for instance, if he had not set those force fields down on time, he just made a huge mistake being on the map like this. But instead, he played it properly, so there's a lot of force field energy left over, and now has Blink Stalkers. He basically, like, the best defense, good offense, his way to a victory in this game, it looks like, because his army is just getting better than Solar's.
Solar's mutas, I thought, were going around to juke and jive for the Warp Prism, but looks like they've actually gone for the Harass. So this is very important that Neeb does have shield batteries in all of his mineral lines. Looks like the Banelings almost get in there. A lot of damage on these sentries.
Yeah. I think Corsair Biles broke the force fields a little faster than he was anticipating, so he did lose, like, I want to say 2 maybe on the front lines. Those sentries. Oh, wow, I was so right. Oh my god, I'm so proud of myself. But he warped in a couple more. Now Centrifugal Hooks is going to be done, though, and Neeb is just going to back away from this. Didn't like that positioning, I suppose. Didn't want to force the issue.
Congratulations on the accomplishment, by the way.
Thank you. That should really be an in-game accomplishment.
The accolades here are unreal on BaseTradeTV. But, alright, it's a lot of Stalkers in the composition. There's certainly something missing for this, though. Blink Stalkers are good. Stalkers in general nowadays are super good, but Neeb is going to need something other than just gateway units at a point. Whether it's something to deal with, like an Archon for the mutas, or whether it's just Immortals to soak more hits. For the time being, these are going to be really great at dodging Corrosive Biles and kind of doing some hit-and-run tactics, but as soon as Neeb is put up against the wall and there's nowhere left to blink away to, and he's just forced to take a fight, these Stalkers won't be necessarily the best thing to have.
Now, Stalkers do take a lot more hits from Banelings. That's like one of the good things about defending in this composition with them is. But you would have loved to have had Storm by now.
Fields. Not good enough, though. Comes in for the bottom side. Huge engagement here for Solars. He comes in for the surround, gets rid of the sentries. Stalkers blink back up to the main. They've got +2 weapons, but I don't think that's going to be enough.
Once they take out the Banelings, and if they have SimCity on their side against the Lings, they can take this army on, but losing all of the important gas units, the Archon Immortals, and the Sentries, was a good thing for Solar.
Yeah, but even with Neeb taking those very specific losses, Solar ends up pulling everything back home to deal with this Warp Prism in the main. I mean, it's good that he's not undervaluing it, but in doing so gives up a lot of ground that he just gained in the middle of the map. You know, he just canceled the 4th. He had a really big momentum shift going his way. If he gets a surround of these Stalkers, this could be really good. I love that Neeb only blinked about half of them. But unfortunately, even with that secondary blink, he's still bleeding out heavily to these Zerglings. This is where you need charge lots. This is where you need Adepts. This is where you need something that's not Stalkers to deal with Zerglings.
I mean, Force Fields would have done wonders by now with all these chokes here. He's trying to trade, and he does have +2 weapons, which, you know, doubles +2 every upgrade for Stalkers now, which is, you know, obviously making a composition like this a little bit stronger than it was prior to the patch. But you know, it still just blinks Stalkers. And if Solar ever gets a surround on this that Neeb didn't scout, Neeb would be in a lot of trouble. Blink back and rushing home would be his only option.
You know, he's got Templar Archives, and he's got a little bit of a bank going for him, but he's not gone for Storm yet, and this is a little bit concerning for me. He knows the core composition is Banelings and Lings, and Storms are going to be like the best way to wash those off. Unfortunately, though, that's nowhere close to being on the battlefield, so Neeb relying on some really sick, like, parting level micro. That's a throwback of a name.
Yeah. So, Neeb doing a lot of work with these Stalkers, and just reinforcing, too, with pure Stalker. Like, hey, it's not something we haven't seen before, as you're talking about.
Where do you blink?
But yeah, there's that surround that I was talking about, with Banelings, no less. I'll need some trouble.
One of the beautiful things about this map, not the chokes necessarily, but kind of like Abyssal Reef, it's got those extra pathways, so you can set up things like surrounds and cut Stalkers off before they can fully retreat and all these little minute details. But at the same time, credit where it's due, and Neeb's doing some fantastic work with these blink Stalkers. I just don't know if it's going to be enough. Good splits takes out a lot of the Banelings, starts turning the tide of battle, but he's still down in supply. And Solar's on like 4 bases, even with that one being picked off.
Those are really good splits. Describe why later. These ones not as good, a little bit late. A lot of splash damage on the front lines, but now starting to split a little bit more. Once the Banelings are done with, there might be enough to take out Ravagers. And in fact,
that's where you blink forward. That's where you blink forward. You no longer need to blink back. Takes out the rest of the army. I can't believe he did it. Neeb wins with Stalkers.
Yeah, now that's a real throwback of a composition. So was Solar's, though. I mean, they both played older versions of PvZ, despite being the newest version of the patch.
That was a fantastic start of the series for Neeb. He's now 1 victory away from locking this down over Solar. We are going to go to our first commercial break of the day, so to the 6,000 people that are already tuning in, I say good morning. I hope you're enjoying some StarCraft. We'll be back in a few moments, but do us a favor, come off the front page, join us here on the channel, hit that follow button, and we'll see all of you guys in 2 minutes. Alright, enjoy the brief black screen for a moment because we had to swap servers again, back on the North American server. So a little bit of favoritism, but not a whole heck of a lot for this guy who's already up 2-0. Just took a game off his opponent's home server, no less. Ladies and gentlemen, in the top left, we have Neeb, playing for TING.
In the bottom right, as the yellow Zerg, it is Splice's Solar.
And the series is going so quick, so before it's over, big shoutouts to Ting for making this tournament possible, for making it happen. If you guys don't know, this is Season 4. Every season's had $5,000 in prizing. This season's no different from the rest. The exception is fans helped raise a little over $1,000 for this one. If you don't know, you can get shirts, you can get SIM cards, you get all these things through the Matcherino page, and 100% of that cost will go towards the prize pool. Ting's not looking to make money off of it. They're looking to just hand out some cool swag at value. So if you buy a $20 t-shirt, it's gonna have $20 go straight to the prize pool for the players. Ting is a US mobile phone service available only in the United States. They are a very different type of phone carrier. They will not fit everybody's needs, but those of you who do not use a lot of data, maybe you're a college kid who's on Wi-Fi all the time, for example, this service can be perfect for you. Average Ting bells are like $25 or less a month. That's why you get $25 in credit when you go to bttv.ting.com. So you can essentially try Ting for 1 month for free on us.
Good deal.
Probe also getting all the scouting information. Gas timing, spawning pool, hatchery.
Yeah. Neeb usually pretty proactive with his probe. Solar is in a bit of a pickle. You know, having to go to the North American server after losing second time in a row. is not going to put him in a good mindset, if anything. But Neeb is just, I mean, he continues to be just so good at this game. I mentioned the last time we saw him, I guess it was the Corsair Cup, so a couple of days ago, that it's not that this guy ever had like a weak point in his career, a slump. Oh my god, a slump in his career so far. Like he fixed things last year, got better this year, won 3 WCSs, and then even though he lost in BlizzCon groups, he lost to the eventual first and second place winner. Like, and that might not have mattered if he was like sucking now, like he just stopped playing and you know, okay, I guess this is time to relax and unwind, and he's not as good as he was, blah blah blah, but. For what we've seen, he's like just as good as he was before, like just dominating anyone that comes up against him. Whether it's, you know, Terran, which is like a bit of a difficult matchup right now for Terran, or Zerg or Protoss. He's been winning all of them.
This is a point that needs to be brought up because we haven't really had a good reason to talk about it yet through group stages. But if you guys forgot, when we had TING Season 3, the live finals over at the Corsair headquarters, Neeb was in the finals versus Gumiho. Granted, he lost. Feels bad, man. But maybe this season's his time to shine because there's no Terran left. It's all Zergs and Protoss.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's so worried about Terran right now.
Well,
I don't think I've heard.
Nobody should be. They're ghosts.
Yeah.
Oh
I don't
God.
think I've heard Neeb's thoughts on it.
That's why Terran have ghosts, because they're all dead.
Oh, no. Well, Solar, he did get close to winning last game. If there were a couple more full surrounds, perhaps, or if Neeb just didn't have his eye on his army for 1 second longer, that composition that Solar was going for, it could have won, but you gotta go back to like a year and a half, maybe even more ago. God, it was so long ago. I feel like Roach Baneling was the thing to do. It has like 3.5 attacks, and then it's just done. So that's why Solar tapped out, even though he was still on 4 bases. You just can't remake a billion Banelings every single time.
No. So kind of a couple cool things. First off, thank you 47S for the 300 bits, claiming Bit Boss title. Good to have you in chat. Dude, 47S, also, if you're willing, you should link some of your art, man. I've been showing it off and talking about it a lot lately. Did a bunch of that on my personal stream last night. But also, someone in chat's asking about the replays for this tournament. We only release replays to our subscribers. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, so if you're not subscribed to the channel, you're SOL. But if you are subscribed to the channel and you're a Protoss or Zerg player, I guarantee you're going to benefit from replays today. So there's quite a good list of players playing PvZ.
Yeah.
But the Overlord scouting, I love this. It was not just speed Overlords, it was 2 of them. Not because he's trying to set up for a link drop, but because he didn't want to get caught off guard. And I think that's a very smart move to do when you're on your last life, which Solar presently is.
It's, yeah, almost a necessity when you're in your last life, but Neeb doesn't do 2 base all-ins too often, or like super trick builds. So this build that he's doing right now, it's just like, it's like what he did last game. You know, Resident Enclaves, and he's not even going to commit with the Adepts.
Yo, I'm just thinking on Neeb's playstyle here for a moment, and I realize now with the patch, he's probably happier than ever. Because Neeb is the player who would never make a Mothership Core unless he died to an attack that he would have not lost to if he had a Mothership Core. And then he'll make the Mothership Core in every other game in the series. Now he doesn't have to worry about it at all.
Good joke. This is a big mistake. This is not at all what he wanted.
He's trying to get some value out of this with the Oracles. I like that move, but he's got to keep those back. Queen will actually kill them. 3 of them, no problem. So yeah, falls back for the time being. This was not what he wanted to get out of this attack. Not only did it barely trade at all for Zerglings, in fact, I don't think it even traded that well. It's also the fact that the Oracles just burned a lot of energy, so these aren't dropping like 10 stasis traps in the main. They're not killing queens anytime soon. And there's no triple Stargate follow-up to this. It went to a Robo.
Yeah. The triple Stargate would have been definitely worth the Overlord speed for Solar, but Neeb is just going into 3 base, and actually a Robotics Bay. We'll have to pay attention to what that means for the rest of this game, but just remade the Adepts and is continuing to show them, at least, as pressure. I mean, there's so many things wrong with that last attack. He shaded onto creep without seeing where the army was, and it was Resident Enclaves. This time, he tries to take out of it, but the Banelings are here, so still taking a bad trade.
Great connects, cleans up almost all the Adepts. 1 lives to get in here and be a little annoying, but a Queen should clean this up. Hydras are on the way for Solar. He's actually making, I didn't realize he made a 2nd Hydra Den. So it's a sneaky Lurker Den.
Lurker is a different building now.
Oh, then I'm actually just uninformed. There you go.
To be honest, I forgot about it. So we never
Patch
brought it up.
4.0 hype, everybody.
And then I was like, oh no, you just
well,
say it's a different building.
Regardless of that, for the moment, it wasn't scouted, and that's going to be a pretty big detail for this.
Yeah. It is. I mean, lurkers have been a problem for some of our other Protosses. You know, we're really like cycling through a lot of different metas that the PvZ has evolved in the last 2 years in 1 week. People are trying everything now that some things have been improved. So, including lurkers, we also have the return of the Colossus fairly early. This is something that people are already experimenting with before the patch. It's like a disclaimer almost, but they did get massively changed. Start off with +1 range, 1 more range than they used to, but then Extended Balance isn't as much range, so it is even when you have it upgraded. Extended Balance is a less expensive upgrade. They deal more damage to light.
Yeah, bonus versus light damage.
Yeah, so a lot of things change about the Colossus, and we'll see how that works up against lurkers. Usually you want Immortals, though, not Colossus, and we'll see how the dynamic goes.
So thank you very much for the $5 coming from Maple Leafs, by the way. Some really sexy sounds hit off before that engagement. It says Odyssey map intro song gets me every time. Take my money, keep rocking, base trade. Ooh, who said Oracle? A little bit nasty. Almost the second one, too. And then Disciple 9K, thank you for that brand new sub. Also to address this whole thing about Terran and like where they are in the tournament, and a lot of discussion in chat, jokes about them being deleted in 4.0. Don't worry, guys, there's a balance patch coming eventually. It's worth noting that all the Terrans got knocked out of this tournament really before the balance patch. A lot of this tournament took place before BlizzCon, and Innovation and Gumiho and all these guys died back when the game was quote-unquote fair for Terran.
Yeah, that is very important to note.
Gumiho in the Laser series is up on YouTube now, by the way. If you guys missed it, that is a 10 out of 10 recommend. Both times that they played were so sick. But alright, the assault commences. Solar's got a lot of these lurkers. Lurkers don't get their upgrades till Hive Tech, so we're not worried about that just yet. It's still just a lot of raw damage. Splash damage right up in the front of Neeb's base, and he's not here to defend. His army's rushing back home.
Neeb's made a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes in this game. The adapts are the first sign twice, and then now no scout on the army positioning, despite having oracles to use. So he's got to recover from a bad position just for the lack of the map awareness.
Colossus have the exact same range as a lurker, so there's no range advantage here to take advantage of.
Yeah.
And Neeb is bleeding out. His gateways to the south are starting to get broken too by those lings, so that's production going to go right out the window.
Yeah, I think Solar's got this one. This is actually a really nice surround, but yeah, he acknowledges it's over. GG.
All right, Solar fighting back. Not going to go down without a fight. Score now 2-1. Also, I should probably go update the brackets page, because again, to show you guys who's playing today, as a lot of you guys are joining us from that front page. Again, good morning, Twitch. We got Solar down here with a 1, and Neeb over here with the 2. Discord, or not Discord, OBS, please.
That works.
But yeah, this is not the match order, this is the bracket order, so what you guys are seeing. After this should be Scarlet versus DNS, then Mana versus Impact, and then we cap the day with Denver versus Hero. I guess we should have taken the time to do some predictions. We can't really do it for the game so that we're currently casting, but do you have any thoughts on the other matchups? Not calling for exact scores or anything, but just who you feel's got the series.
Let's see. Next, Scarlet, DNS. I kind of want to give the DNS, to be honest. Scarlet's a bit of a mystery of how much she's practicing.
Okay.
Mana versus Impact. Give that to Impact. And then Denver versus Hero. Hero. I'm sorry, Denver. All Hero.
It's the renown of a very legendary Protoss player. I don't think he'll be upset with that. I kind of want to say Scarlet over DNS, only because I think what's great about Scarlet's play versus Protoss that I've always enjoyed is that she can kill him in the early game. Even players like Stats and otherwise. And I feel like the early game for Protoss and Zerg hasn't changed dynamically enough for that to be different. But, of course, we'll see as that series comes out. And then for Mana versus Impact, I'm leaning towards Impact. Part of that's going to be the fact that servers are going to suck for both players. But secondly, Impact's been playing pretty well lately. Got to see this in the Alima League and otherwise. And actually, on that note, too, we just, like, kind of lulled about Hero. But Hero's not been playing that well, considering last Alima League.
Who did he lose to?
I don't remember. I just remember it wasn't played very well. And we're talking about how he's not adapting to the patches and like I don't know.
Was that him? I'm gonna actually look that up to try and jog my memory. Ready?
Yep. No intro for this one yet, but I found some appropriately boring music for it, so we'll get this made at some point. But Catalyst is gonna be the map. Just kind of load in a little bit early here. Get that black screen out of the way.
He lost against Solar.
There you go.
I didn't even look it up. I just started to remember. So speaking of Solar, I suppose. But it wasn't that it was played well. Wasn't played well, rather. Actually, there were some really well played moments. Just a good Zerg player. Anyways.
So is a good Zerg player, actually, and on that note, that's why it was so surprising to see this be a 2-0 kickoff for Neeb, but he's just taken one game, he's bringing it back with 1 point on the board, his life is still on the line. In the top left, we got Splice's Solar.
In the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, he is Ting Neeb.
And we are back on the Korean server. This is also part of why the names keep changing, guys, is each server, different names, different clan tags, you probably guess who's who, but anyways, this is last time Neeb won on the Korean server, so I'm not too worried about ping or latency or anything affecting him here.
Yeah, he won with microing Blink Stalkers, so that just on top of that wasn't getting to a death ball through some good defense. It was constant aggression and constant micro, so I really don't blame the ping at all if he were to lose now. And speaking of, I wanted to highlight why his stalker micro against those wings was so good. Most of the time, there's one or two mistakes, obviously, but Neeb is a former Terran player, and he learned to split like a good Terran player. A lot of people split when they practice Terran just by moving their army back, and that's actually okay, but kind of bad, because they're not attacking. They move them too far back.
But
Neeb, yeah, they just run, right? But Neeb notably only moved the stalkers as far back as they needed to be to not be all hit by splash damage, but then immediately start attacking again. It's really beautiful, but it takes a second, right? And then you blink and you miss it type thing, but it's really good.
Literally.
yeah, literally. So it's just awesome to see them contribute that to Protoss, because Protoss has always been the race that was
you roll your eyes, a move.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's really not been that race in a very long time.
There's certainly some finesse to it, but then there's moments with a shield battery attacking a Terran player on proxy, and I'm just,
you're so salty.
I can't let that go. It is the new Viper, and I haven't even had to play against it yet. By the way, Fluffy Zergling came our way with a $5 donation. Thank you for that dollar holler, dude. Says, what do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. I like it. I like it a lot.
I thought you just knew the answer.
No. I didn't even realize it was a joke set up as I'm reading it. I'm just reading it for the sake of reading it. That is probably my biggest weakness. I don't read things before, I don't read them in my head before I say them out loud. And I have read a few unfortunate donations as a consequence. It feels bad, man.
Yes, I recall.
Thank you very much to Wondertunge, however you want to phrase that. BaseTradeTV, do you guys send VODs of all the games to subscribers? So here's the deal with VODs. They're free. Anybody can watch them. You can access it even right now live while it's going. So if you miss a game, you can rewind a little bit. Ooh, nice pick off there. But replays, the direct replays of the game where you can study the player's builds and movements, that stuff is available to subscribers only. And that stuff is sent to your subscriber inbox. So if you guys... maybe you're subbed and you didn't, where do I get these replays Riffin keeps talking about? Just check your inbox here on Twitch.
Awesome.
3 probe kills and a little bit of lost mining. That kind of worked out well for Solar.
Yeah. I really want to highlight last game, not for Solar's, well played, even though it was, but really I feel Neeb made a lot of, as I said, uncharacteristic mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, but there's some things that you just know a player doesn't usually do. Losing 2 adept groups, that doesn't usually happen. And being surprised by an army, being positioned you didn't think it was, also doesn't usually happen. Neeb, though, no longer just cracks under that type of expected win. He would get up 2-0 and then he would lose. Then you saw him just tumble down. He doesn't do that anymore. So I figured he'll just fix those mistakes in his little notepad. His revelation brain. More. Yeah. It's something what he does. He's talked about how he notes the first and second mistakes that he's made and then writes it on a notepad and says, don't do it again. So.
Good on him.
Yeah.
Solar did a really good job of delaying this third, by the way. Picking off that probe at the timing he did was a little bit lucky, but beyond that, just keeping the pressure up. So, you know, Neeb must put the pylon before the Nexus and all these small little details. Did take him a little time to get this third up and running.
Yeah.
Oh, Nope Skull, thank you for that 22 months coming in with some Prime action. Keep up the good work, gang. We will. Thank you so much, sir. Of course, I guess a small blip in the game. We're going to do a call to action. If you guys, of course, have Twitch Prime, or heck, if you got Amazon Prime, you might not realize you have Twitch Prime. You go to twitchprime.com to connect your Twitch account to your Amazon Prime account. And the beauty of it is, once a month, you can subscribe to any channel on Twitch for free. So whether it's us, and hopefully you'll consider picking us if you enjoy the show, or just your favorite other streamers, make sure, because the streamers get the full value of that sub as if it was a normal sub. So it's a good money incentive for the streamers, and a good way to support them too.
Of course.
But oh, this is really out of position for Neeb, even with a couple of force fields available. Sitting out here just kind of hugging a pylon. I'm not sure if I put a shield battery up in between the two bases or not. It's actually a bit of an odd pylon.
That should be what it's for. I mean, you had your forward pylons for your overcharges. Now you should have your forward pylons for your shield battery emergencies. So he probably won't put it down immediately, but if he ever sees a large attack on the way, he might slap a couple down.
If I could ask the help of chat for a moment, though, you guys will notice there's a guy with this black bit thing next to his name. His name's Jibby25. He said he was going to go to bed because he has an exam in 4 hours. I'm really disappointed to see him awake and watching the channel. So everyone scold him for me, please. Thank you.
Oh. I don't know where that was going. You know, it looks like Neeb is setting up for a similar game to last. No, sorry, two ago, like the same one he did on the other Korean server map, I guess, which is Blackpink. So, oh, nope, never mind. He was building a lot of sentries. He was going into Blink. I thought he was going to do like one of the Blink attacks, but actually adds on the robotic space, so maybe he is like last game. Maybe I was right in the first time.
Shield battery gonna keep this sentry alive. Oh, shield battery is so good at keeping units alive. These Zerglings are gonna have a hard time finding an actual attack here. A lot of subs coming. We'll get you guys here in a sec, because right now those force fields can either cut these off if Neeb's paying attention and force them to fight, or just let them go and focus on the oracles the other side of the map, as he's currently doing.
Yeah. Really, he's got to scout the Lurker Den this time. That was, I believe, missing from his intel. If it wasn't, the army certainly was. I guess the detection he had was sniped, then he didn't replace it and didn't catch the army. So it was the biggest mistake. If he catches a Lurker army moving forward, there's a chance he can go out and try and preempt it, right? Catch it on a ramp, make it a little less just doomsday material, because that's what last game was. So there was already up into his natural, and that's already a terrible spot to be in.
Well, Colossus on route, Lurker Den finishing up. We'll see this start turning into a pretty grody battle. I'm not trying to compare the two. It's apples and oranges, obviously, with players, but watching the way TLO absolutely destroyed Hearthstone with Lurkers, I'm just thinking, like, Solar has got some pretty good potential with this attack, and his army supply is not too shabby.
For Neeb, it really is about seeing it coming, force filling off, buying time, and buying positioning. His Colossus It is the problem, especially with last game, is not just him being caught out of position. It was also that his damage just wasn't there. That's why you typically want Immortals. But if you can get to 3 or 4 Colossus, if you can actually catch the Lurkers in a difficult position, then they will eventually burst them down with the help of, Stalkers.
I'm going to try something here really quick. Summit 1G destroyed that one nerd. No? Okay, well, TLO just hosted us with 1,000 viewers right around the time I mentioned him kicking Hearthstone's butt in the Corsair Cup. So thank you very much, TLO, and good morning to all of the Doctor's viewers. I hope you guys had a good stream. And speaking of which, we just finished a little bit of a sub-train over here. So chew frickin' chew. We'll get you guys all caught up with shoutouts after the game, because there's so many to do and there's so little time. Solar's on the attack. Lurkers coming down that south side. Lot of army here to protect this, too. And on top of this Ling threat on the right side is still very dangerous. Oh, I love the way Neeb split his army, though. It's not going to be enough, though, because the Lurkers are still going to be problems.
Yeah, and he only has 2 Colossus, not the 3 or 4 I was talking about. So the right side is already destroyed. This side is mostly sentries, going to get demolished, and Neeb is just going to die.
Well, this is where I was talking about liking the split, because initially I thought, okay, he's going to leave these here to protect the base, but nope, never mind. GG! Solar ties up the series now 2-2. And we're going to an ace match in the first series of the day. Nice.
Wow.
Well, a quick look at the brackets, because with TLO's viewers joining us, let's show you guys what you have in store for today. This is the very first series we're casting, but we have all 4 of the round of 8 matches to stream today. So a 2-2 start for this one puts us in a pretty good spot. I'm going to do commercial break to get it out of the way. When we get back, massive sub shoutout session and game number 5 on the North American server. So see you guys here in 2 minutes. A little bit of a black screen for game 5. Just let that clear up. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the TING Open Season 4. This tournament is brought to you by TING, a US mobile phone service. I don't want to bore you with the details, but go to bttv.ting.com to check them out and get up to $25 in credit. They are the sponsors of this tournament. Spawning here to the lower right, though, it's their one and only player, the green Ro8 Neeb.
In the top left, as the yellow Zerg hits Solar.
I don't like that base trade has been militarized into a brigade. Well, find me another word that rhymes with this, and we'll go with that one instead.
Base trade grenade.
Because we blow it up,
Launch
baby!
'em.
We blow it up on Twitch! Hit that follow button! We're the fastest growing channel here at StarCraft 2! That's my Logan Paul impression. Thank you, Gurk Pro, for the Prime sub, coming in for 3 months. The base trade parade sounds fabulous.
I was gonna say that too.
The base trade crusade sounds righteous.
Ooh, no, that's worse.
I like parade. I'm gonna be honest. I want to make like a float with all of our subs on it or something.
Ah, damn it. I can't think of anything else that rhymes.
I'm actually like semi-seriously considering changing the name to the Base Trade Parade. Even though it doesn't make sense, it just sounds fun.
I mean, why does it make less sense than Brigade?
Ah, you know what? Mapu's got us, dude. It's the Base Trade Charade. Cause we never talk about the game.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Like pointing up my nose, tugging on my ear, flapping around like a bird. Base trade charades.
Oh,
Man.
I was like, wait, why are you a flying elephant?
No, I guess it'd be like a charade, like a ruse as well.
I got it. Because that's what I was thinking, like a ruse, not like a game.
I was thinking of a game of charades, right? Like you can't use words. Like
yeah, I realized that 10 seconds after the Flappy years, but like.
Oh, it doesn't quite rhyme, but Base Trade Conclave doesn't sound too bad either.
Yeah, that
right.
would be cool.
All the awesome suggestions in chat. Okay, you know what? I thought only one word rhymed with it. You guys proved me wrong, okay? You got me! You got me! Thank you so much for all the suggestions. There's not a lot really opening for this, though. It's Resonating Glaives coming out of Neeb, which could lead to a pretty nasty attack, but there's kind of an if attached to this, because last time he did this, it didn't go so well. Solar actually caught the Adepts out very early, dealt with them swiftly, and Neeb was left without any early game steam.
This has been a really odd set of games. The first two were as almost expected, not because Neeb won, although that was kind of expected too. But just the way they played it was so smooth and elegant and refined and things we expect from Neeb. But the last two games, the first time serious mistakes 3 times basically, and the last game just another mistake where he didn't see the army move to the left side again, and that is very unfortunate. But at least he was a little bit more in position. Still couldn't stop it. Just I don't know about the order of things here. This Resonating Glaives into Blank into Robo for Colossus. It's getting beat by these lurkers.
I shouldn't be paying attention to chat for this, but man, I like, first off, Base Trade Arcade, if we did like an arcade night, is sick. I like that one. Get like the illuminated letters, Stranger Things style, that'd be awesome. But the other one was, someone said Base Trade Face Trade. Like, what is this, Nicolas Cage and Face Off? Like, I was gonna come on stream wearing a mask? Like, how would that work?
I don't know about that, but hey, we have double Stargate following up the Resonating Glaives, so this I like a lot better. But Solar is also doing something interesting, going for an Overlord drop and a ton of Lings.
Oh, and this is gonna hit at such a sick timing. There's no shield batteries. All the warpins have been used already to send Adepts across the map. 3 more joining their sisters in the front lines. There's actually nothing at home to deal with this. And in the past, you'd have a Mothership Core. Well, Neeb wouldn't, but there's nothing at home to defend this.
Well, he sees how many lings there are, and he should be a little bit suspicious. But that actually looks like enough just to deal with these adepts, so not suspicious at all. But Solar actually worried about the adepts.
Oh.
Isn't paying attention to his own drop.
Neeb's also not going for oracles, by the way, with noting out of these Stargates. He's gone for weapon upgrades. Oh, he gets the choke on the ramp, though, and even though Solar's got a full unload of the main, he can't use it. He's so busy trying to defend at home. Now sends the Zerglings in. We'll see if Neeb pulls the probes. On this side of the map, though, it's just auto attack time, so he can micro at home.
This is such a good positioning for Neeb. The adepts that were warped in at home, there's going to be enough. There are really not that many lings and an overlord. Grabs the last queen there and is taking such efficient trades against all these lings. Solar definitely getting the worst end of this. I think his overlord drop cleaned up too after only killing 4 probes.
This positioning on the ramp was so sick. I love the split there to soak the Baneling so most of the adepts get out alive. He did so much damage with this attack, and Solar with that overlord drop was supposed to do so much. Unfortunately, with how long it took him to pull the trigger, Neeb had time for warp-ins to cool down and get those 3 adepts in the main to clean this up. So ultimately, while 6 probes were lost, sure, Solar's the one who took way more damage.
Neeb is going into a lot of Phoenix as opposed to any Oracles. Perhaps that was his initial plan anyways. He's certainly going to clean up any further overlord drops and then just have so many Phoenixes that you don't really start caring about those Spore Crawlers. You just pick up whatever queens are there and help out the adepts. Pick up Banelings as well.
He's not going to focus them down, but that's kind of okay. He's got the adepts spread out enough. These Banelings won't be that effective. Yeah, they cheat out very barely. This still ends up being really good, though. Even with these adepts falling apart, all of this keeps Solar from attacking while Neeb was building up those Phoenix. And now they're kind of at a out-of-control point where I don't know whether he wants to just pick off Overlords or if he just wants to zip and zoom into the mineral lines. Either way, he's going to be able to do whatever he wants because he's got enough Phoenix for it.
Yeah, and if he continues making 2 Phoenix at a time, he'll be able to pick up large number of queens as well. He did not catch this Overlord, fortunately, but it is only a couple of lings.
Well, no, it's more about the 3 Banelings, though.
Yeah. It should be Rek'Tu immediately, but he has no pylon, so...
Okay, well, he lost 8 drones, so he's got to make up for at least that much damage, bare minimum. But it looks like Neeb's not paying attention, so... Kablooey! It's gonna... Oh...
Very
good. They're gonna clean up. They're gonna clean house. A lot of these probes are like 1 shot from dead. Although there's no micro, so never mind. But still, 17 probes are 17 probes.
That is so good for Solar. He really needed that to happen. Neeb just not paying attention to his main base at all, microing his Phoenixes. But he didn't have that outward detection of this. You know, that pile was on the left side. He really was hard in his main base. His main mineral line by the time he saw it.
There's still the rhyming game going on, and I just had a very self-deprecating joke. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
So, just so you guys know, this is actually going to happen. Roddy's going to come cast something in the near future. Unannounced yet, so there's your little spoiler, but what do you call it when Rotterdam comes on to base trade to cast with Zombie Grub? The base trade upgrade. Feels bad, man.
Oh, he's going to come and cast with... Wait, what?
Well, that's the joke, but yeah, Roddy will be coming to cast on the channel at some point in the future. Near future. Tapping my nose here. Actually, I think that's supposed to get announced this week, maybe after WSG, but that's gonna be fun stuff when it happens. This is so many Phoenix, though. There's just not enough anti-air. Even with the Spore Crawler, 7 queens aren't gonna cut it. Even with their transfuses, they're just disabled.
Well,
these queens are in the air dying.
Not getting any of those transfuses off. In fact, still missing one. There we go. Finally uses it. He can also pick up Banelings, be pretty efficient there.
We haven't seen mass Phoenix in God knows how long, outside of like 2v2s. I am so impressed to see this work, because I feel like Phoenix Adept, it was so popular to use versus Terran, obviously. It was so popular in general for a long time. No one's seen it in months. Neeb really pulled this build out of the Dark Ages and has kicked a lot of butt with it.
Solar's having a very difficult time. He's losing all of his queens, and while you don't really want to pick up lings, so, you know, maybe they'll get some counterattacks in.
Nice.
Maybe the army will live. It's not a very good army. He's not getting the Hydralisk. He did build an Infestation Pit, but he's also not adding on Infestors, finally starting the Patching Grounds.
So I love the Phoenixes for a couple of different reasons beyond what we're seeing, and one of the concerns I had was Neeb being really paranoid about lurkers. How would he deal with it? Well, you can rip them right out of the ground. You can kill them in the sky. And of course, they can't fire back against Phoenixes. And I'm wondering if that's what prompted him to do it for this game or not. But I love, we just saw the recall use over here. If you guys weren't aware, Nexus now is a recall. It's a global cooldown of 2 minutes, but you can recall to any Nexus. So that's what we got to see pull the army back home. So the Adepts and the Sentries and the Shield Battery should be good for the defense. These are not speed banelings. Force fields on this should be easy.
A little bit of a split. Is that gonna force field? Okay. Good force fields.
Yeah, said force field should be easy. We have fungal growths though, locked and loaded for these infestors. We have the new infested Terrans. We need to actually talk about this because the infestor was changed quite a bit for 4.0. One of the big things is fungal growth no longer roots units in place. It slows them heavily, but these Phoenix no longer get stuck in place. Secondly, it's got a bigger area of effects. You'll catch more units, deal 30 damage to 5 more units. That's actually a lot of extra damage. And then on top of this, the Infested Terrans had a massive change. They're better than ever. They get upgrades, not that there's any really in play, but most importantly, they have a cool new anti-air attack, rocket launchers.
Yes, they're purple rocket launchers. It looks kind of dumb. It looks like the Devourer spell being cast, attack being cast, so that's why I don't like it personally. It just looks really out of place. Yeah, watch it if it ever happens.
No, I've seen it. I don't know that it looks like that to me, but
it's a big purple glob.
Yeah, but it's not like a constant stream.
That's not what the Devourer does. Although now I'm second guessing myself. So the Devourer also sends out a big purple glob.
No, you are actually correct. I'm thinking of the Corruptor, excuse me.
Oh, no, not Corruptopus. No, Devourer, Broodword thing. It still has not made its way into any StarCraft 2 co-op or campaign, because it was a dumb unit.
Yes, it has, actually. Abathur has them.
Really? Okay, I don't play Abathur, so that's why I wouldn't know. I literally just haven't even... Oh, I finally bought him because someone made me buy him.
We both goofed, so it's even. Both about the Devourers.
I mean... I goofed on co-op. I'm not too ashamed about that one.
How dare you?
Yeah, okay.
Co-op is a part of our culture. There are 9 infestors in play. I love that he went for infestors. There's no Templar. There's nothing to really deal with these, but if he gets too close, the Colossus will mow him down from far away. While Colossus don't have bonus damage versus infestors, they still have range, which is going to be huge. It's also worth noting Solar got Neural Parasite pretty early. In fact, Denver, shout out to that guy, we'll see him later in the bracket today, is the only player we've seen, I feel, use Neural Parasite in the last while. So this will be cool to see.
This will be interesting. Neeb has not gotten High Templars with Storm, I guess, at any point in this series. He did barely get to High Templars in one of the games.
I gotta give a big shout out, by the way, to Ting Jesse coming in the chat. He is the representative from Ting who's made all of these tournaments, who made sponsoring Neeb possible. If you guys got questions about Ting, he's the guy to send your attention to it. Also, feel free to absolutely tease him and try to psych him out, because he has to do a backflip from his office with an audience live later today, after the round of 8 matches conclude. Oh no. Oh, Neeb, please realize this.
Oh, Dancing Colossus.
He's
dancing,
getting AI'd.
dancing.
AI'd really hard. This, I mean, seriously, having 3 or 2 Colossus missing from your army is huge. Especially when you gotta consider what Solar's gonna do is probably neuraling 2 of them right off the bat, so it's like half your Colossus missing. And unfortunately, the other half are missing too. This is bad.
Still, wow.
Well, you know what? It might work out, because those can go defend the Lings that are running around the map right now. But big fungal growth blankets the army. Infested Terrans can be down top. This tries to surround with the Zerglings. Colossus are doing a great job, though, just cutting through the army.
The Infested Terrans, there you can see their attack to the Phoenixes. That was the purple
it's like, what, 20 damage
blob.
Oh, 14, excuse me, without upgrades. It's like 20 with upgrades.
Yeah, the other effect is that they got upgrades, but there's been no missile upgrades, so just melee. Those 2 Colossus finally unstuck themselves, but it wasn't the Colossus I was going to note. It was just the lack of High Templars, so really feedbacks did not come down, but the Infestors are almost out of juice.
Yeah, there's not going to be any more Infested Terrans. There's not going to be a Neural Parasite. Neeb can actually just warp in. He recognizes this too. Solar's got to make a choice with these Lings. Does he come home and try to defend desperately, or does he attack? Because Neeb's got a lot of momentum right now. Those Infestors are not getting energy anytime soon. It's a time-based game that Neeb doesn't... Well, he's not worried about it, frankly.
No, he's not. Did he realize this
detection.
game?
GG. Neeb will take the series and move on to the semifinals for the Ting Open Season 4. It's good to see the home team player surviving it a little bit longer. But I hope you guys are excited, because we're going to go to the brackets again to update the score, but also let you guys know that Scarlet versus DNS will be starting up next. So, another PvZ. They're all PvZs today. We can't escape it. I'll move Neeb over there. But, well, they're all PvZs. Some of them are foreigners versus Koreans. Most of them are, actually. This is the only foreigner versus foreigner matchup for that bracket.
Oh. Interesting.
By the way, we've talked a lot about Ting. Got a lot of people tuning in today, by the way. Again, that Twitch front page is money, baby. Thank you guys so much for joining us here. Almost 8,000 viewers. We'll see if we revisit this, because we're going to lose some of you now as we go to commercial break. We do have to play some sponsored content from our sponsors. So these are going to be in-game video or in-stream videos. You get to learn a little bit about what Ting is, who they are. Again, at last count, we're at 19. If we have 30 people signed up for Ting, at any point, whether it's tomorrow or a week or 2 months from now, that's how we set up Season 5. So we're 4 seasons deep in about 2 years. That's pretty freaking nice. I'm very much looking forward to Ting Season 5 in 2018. I know we're going to make it happen. But guys, check out the Matcherino page. Check out bttv.ting.com. We're going to go to a word from Ting, our sponsors. Let them tell you about themselves. But before we do, thank you very much to Ronan Dude for the 28-month resub. Jibby, I told you to go to bed. Instead of going to bed, he resubs for 14 months and gifts Jesse a resub. Thank you, Jibby, hooking up our sponsor of all people. Jesse should be the one hooking people up in chat. I'm just saying. But thank you very much. Guys, we're going to play some ads, like I said, and we'll be back in probably about 5 or 6 minutes with Scarlet versus DNS. So if you're hyped, take a break. We'll see you soon.